Hey, what's up my friends? Nick Arapkalis here, and I'm making this video with a heavy heart as I just recently got word that the legend Dan Kennedy has passed. Now, I actually heard kind of two different things. I heard that he's still in hospice but in very critical condition, but I also heard a few people that have announced his death. So I figured I would make this video regardless because I would like to share my story on my involvement with Dan Kennedy, not necessarily involvement, but just like my story with him and his teachings and stuff like that, and kind of just share with you guys more about him if you're not familiar with him, because I haven't referenced him that much on this channel or in any of my videos or anything like that, but he has had a major influence on my life and my marketing career. So just wanted to, pay my respects and give my condolences to his family and his friends and everyone that he touched, which was a lot of people. So for the people that do not know about Dan Kennedy, he just, obviously just passed or is likely going to pass. And up until that point, he was the greatest living copywriter and marketer. People throw those words around a lot, but he was truly one of the best. Okay, and to share you a little bit about my story with Dan Kennedy and his teachings. Obviously, I never met the guy, I never got mentored by him directly, but I read a lot of his books, I listened to some of his courses, and I also listened to some guys that talked a lot about him who had direct mentorship from him, and just talking about how he was the god of copywriting and marketing. He even I remember so before I really got going in this marketing stuff and all this, building my own business stuff, I was always kind of contemplating getting involved, doing my own business, that type of stuff. But I was always working these weird little jobs here and there. I was like a pool boy for a while. I was a landscaper. I was cutting grass, and I had various different jobs. But I remember specifically when I was a landscaper, I would be cutting grass during the hot summer months, and I would be able to have headphones in, and I took advantage of that time to not just listen to music. I listen to it every once in a while just to kind of lift my spirits and whatnot, but a lot of times I listened to personal development audios. And one of the books that I absolutely loved that I took into an audio format was Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And I made a video on this particular YouTube channel about that book and how it's changed my life dramatically, and I think everyone should read it. In fact, it's one of my favorite books of all time, if not my favorite book. And so I had researched a lot of psycho-cybernetic stuff, and I found this audio, and it was like a revamped version of Psycho-Cybernetics because it was written in the 30s, I believe. That was the year. Don't quote me on that. But so I looked it up and I found it, and then I saw that this guy, Dan Kennedy, was narrating the new improved version, and he was just kind of giving his thoughts about it, and he was just going over the whole book completely. It was 10 hours worth of audio, and I didn't really know who this Dan Kennedy guy was, but I was listening to him every day. I was listening to this Psycho-Cybernetics audio every single day, probably at least a couple hours a day. I would always just continually learn and listen. And Psycho-Cybernetics is all about self-image psychology. And so Dan Kennedy, he's all about copywriting and marketing. And I just remember him talking about how he had this flourishing business and he hadn't had to do any marketing for himself, even though he was this marketing expert in 20 years. And he had this short, quick commute to his office. He was making tons of money. I remember even some of my mentors paid him 20 grand for a day's work to just go be around him and get advice and even get ridiculed to some degree. I remember his nickname that some people referred to him as was Mean Old Dan. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he was obviously getting a little bit older. And from what I understand is the reason that he had passed or is about to pass is a lot of heart conditions. So that's kind of why he's taken a turn for the worse. And but he's this mean old guy, but he just could get people results. He just killed it. He did copywriting, and if you guys aren't familiar with copywriting, I encourage you to go check out some of my other videos on copywriting. But copywriting is salesmanship in print. So instead of you doing a sales conversation with somebody and closing them down into a sale, basically you can take what you would say and put it into a written format or video format, and it influences the person to buy without you having to be there. And it just really revolutionized the sales industry, because at that point you don't have to be there every single time making a sales presentation. Rather, you can put it on a video, or you can put it just on a written page, and people can come in and read it or listen to it, and they're much more influenced to purchase, rather than a salesperson being there every single time. So it really revolutionized the game, okay, the game of sales and marketing, because they finally discovered like there's certain things you can do and really tap into people's emotions and really get people to buy. So he worked with ridiculous successful companies, like some of the biggest companies in the world. And I would say more specifically is I have a mentor, I had a mentor that I worked closely with a while back. I was in his masterminds and stuff. Don't work with him very close anymore, but the guy's name is Frank Kern. And he always referenced Dan Kennedy. Like he said he was his god, his legend that he always looked up to. And he was one of the guys that I was mentioning that would pay him 20 grand for a day's work just to get beat up by him, not like verbally, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my story. I just wanted to, give my condolences to Dan's family and friends. He, made this world a better place. He revolutionized this. And I guarantee that if you are doing anything with an online business or just business in general, and you're looking to do marketing and sales, I guarantee if you're successful, Dan Kennedy had a large part to do with that. Maybe not directly, but he touched so many lives, and all the people that he touched continue to teach his marketing strategies and tactics and all that kind of stuff. He's like the godfather of it all. So if anybody you're learning from is having success, and therefore you're having success, I would go to the extent to say that to some degree it all came from Dan Kennedy. Okay, so I would just encourage you to maybe go research more of his stuff, read his books, because he's like, not too many people are like Dan Kennedy. Not too many people come around like Dan Kennedy, because he was a true genius, and can't really speak any more highly of him, even though I never had any direct communication with him. I just learned from his teachings, his books. I remember even like several years back, I was going to visit a friend, and I was just reading one of Dan Kennedy's books the whole way. It's like taking notes, highlighting everything. And that book, it was the ultimate sales letter. It really just teaches you how to do this whole copywriting thing. That's where like it all stemmed for me. And then I started investing in other places where I could get courses and stuff like that, where I could learn this copywriting even more. But that book right there, that like made me realize how powerful this copywriting stuff is, and how to really craft a sales letter so that you can get people to purchase. Whether that is then just a sales letter, an email, an Instagram post, a YouTube video, or whatever it is. If you're trying to influence and persuade someone to do something, whether that is make a purchase or go on a date with you or whatever, a lot of it came from Dan Kennedy. So it's a sad day, and it's unfortunate, but I think we should also celebrate his life, celebrate Dan, because he said it a few times here, but he just revolutionized the industry. He revolutionized the world, and we should all be very, very thankful for having him in this world, because he truly made this place a better place. Okay. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I appreciate your time. If you have not yet, make sure and subscribe to the channel and share this with a friend that needs to know about this, because Dan, he was a legend, and we just all need to praise and remember him, and lift up his family, and help his family and friends get through this tough time, because it's definitely a tough time for everybody that had any involvement with him, especially his close family and friends. Okay, guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate your time, and we will see you on the next video.